Over 2,000 of the world's best Olympic sailors will travel around the globe, from Melbourne, Australia, to Miami, USA, Palma de Mallorca, Spain, Hyères, France, Medemblik, the Netherlands, Kiel, Germany, and Weymouth, Great Britain, to determine the champions of the ISAF Sailing World Cup. U.S. Sailing's Rolex Miami OCR here in Miami, Florida is the second stop on the ISAF Sailing World Cup. And since 2012 is an Olympic year, competing in this event is even more important for competitors in the 10 Olympic and 3 Paralympic classes.
We are extremely excited to be part of the ISAF Sailing World Cup, and we hope to continue in future years. This year is the Olympic year. It's very important for the competitors. It's their last 6 months of serious preparation. We have a very exciting international turnout this year, very impressive considering that Perth was just a month ago. So we're very heartened with the competition we have here. We've had 2 solid days under our belt, and the weather forecast for the rest of the week looks outstanding. So we're filling up the schedule, getting the races in, and getting some great southern Florida racing.
We join the action on this 3rd day of racing as over 500 sailors from 44 countries take to the water in a solid 10 to 15 knot easterly breeze. We begin with the Star, one of the most talent-laden fleets in this regatta. 30 boats on the line, and they're off. Currently there's a tie for first in this regatta between Mark Mendelblatt and Brian Faith, and Norway's Eivind Melleby and Petter Moreland Pedersen.
Well, we have 9 of the top 15 from the worlds in Perth here, so it's quite a strong fleet in the Star class. Well, we have Robert Scheidt here, the world champion this year, so just getting to the medal race will be quite tough, I guess.
Next off the line are the Finns, where U.S. sailing team member and Olympic silver medalist Zach Raley is currently leading the division. He gets a strong start here at the committee boat end. The top mark for the Stars is crowded as you'd expect, and the front runners in the fleet approach it on starboard. In the lead is Canada's Richard Clark and Tyler Bourne. Brazil's Robert Scheidt is one of the most decorated sailors in this regatta. He's in second, followed by France's Xavier Rojas. In the Finns, it's Australia's Brendan Casey in the lead, just ahead of USA's Caleb Payne. But the big story is this man. Zach Raley rounded the top mark in 5th. He has passed enough boats to be in 2nd. Now he has his sights set on the lead.
We have a small fleet here. There's 26 boats, which is exactly the number of boats that we're going to have at the Olympic Games. So we came into this event really wanted to working on our decision making, tactics on the race course. It's a much smaller fleet, so you change your decision making and change your tactics a little bit. So that's what we're working on here this week.
It's the Swiss team, Flavio Morizi and Enrico De Maria, first place as the Stars approach the windward mark for the 2nd time. But with a competitor like Robert Scheidt from Brazil just behind, it's going to be a hard lead to maintain. It's Norway's Eivind Melleby and Petter Moreland Pedersen who went into this regatta in the lead today. A deep race has them in about 10th right now. The fleets overlap with the Stars heading downwind and the Finns back upwind. Downwind, Robert Scheidt is making a fight for the front against the Swiss. It was a close race, particularly in a star-studded fleet like this, but at the end, give the finish to Flavio Morizi and Enrico De Maria from Switzerland. Downwind in the Finn, the story is still the same. Australia's Brendan Casey is in a solid lead. But with a 2nd place finish, Zach Raley is still leading the division. We move over to the 470 course. The men are about to start, and it's currently Australians Matthew Belcher and Malcolm Page, the gold medalists, leading this division. Here's the gun. Upwind, Belcher and Page converge with the fleet from the left-hand side. Back on the line with the start of the 470 women's. Hannah Mills and Saskia Clark from Great Britain are leading this division. A midline start for them. Downwind in the men, it's Stephen Lefebvre and Stephen Kroll leading the rest of the fleet. The women's fleet split upwind from the right and the left-hand side, but leading into the mark, it looks as though it's going to be our second place in the division so far, Catherine Kettleback and Frederike Belcher. Here's Mills and Clark. They have an 8-point advantage on this fleet, and they're going to need it. In about 12th place, they're going to have to work hard downwind.
She's wicked. We have a really good time together. We get on really well. We laugh a lot, and she's very easygoing. We get on. We have a great time, but we totally know when to be serious and when to really switch on to the racing. And we're both just so determined. We really want it.
Amanda Clark and Sarah Lehan tied and won the tiebreaker for the Olympic trials. They will represent the U.S. in Weymouth.
I knew during the race that at the final windward mark before the final run to the finish that we were not qualifying for the Olympics, and so we just put our heads down and pushed the boat as hard as we could with the yellow flag up. We were allowed to pump as much as we wanted, and we had an amazing run downwind and past the boats we needed to put points on, and we secured the bid. But it was that close. Just still incredible to be on this side of it.
The Dutch team of Lefebvre and Kroll are still in command of the fleet on this second upwind leg. And they've got about a minute lead over the rest of the fleet. It may be a tough race for them so far, but Stu McNay and Graham Beal are the best 470 team in the U.S. They won the trials and are headed to Weymouth.
I believe we're missing only 2 or 3 boats that have medal potentials at this event. So it's a very high quality fleet, even though the numbers aren't very large. It's the racing is really tied up near the front of the racing, so the whole regatta will be a challenge all the way through.
This is an all-important regatta for the Canadians as well. It is their Olympic trials. Downwind, the Dutch team is still far out in front. It's the final turning mark for the Dutch team, and all looks good for Lefebvre and Kroll as they head to the finish. And with that, they take the race.
So this is our first time out in Miami and we're loving it so far. It's meant to be winter here, but it's glorious sunshine the whole time. We're just really enjoying it. Lots of good sailing going on. Because there's a smaller fleet, it's quite intense racing, but it's nice to have some space on the race course for once.
It's a trapezoid course which has the women on a power reach as well to the outside, with the Argentinians in the lead. In the yellow jerseys, Hannah Mills and Saskia Clark from Great Britain were deep at the top mark. Now they're in third. Into the bottom mark, it looks as though it can be any one of 3 teams, depending on how the turn goes, that will take the race. Into the finish, it's going to be Maria Fernando Sesto and Consuelo Monsegur from Argentina who take the race.
We've now reached the halfway point of this regatta. As we wrap up our coverage today of the Stars, the Finns, and the 470s, we'll shift our focus tomorrow to the men's and women's lasers, the RSX windsurfers, and the always exciting 49er skiffs. For now, I'm Tucker Thompson. Thanks for joining us.